Alright guys, I'm going to show you my deck today. Like I said that I didn't do a deck review this week, but I wanted to show you this deck because a few of you asked me if I can do my like a full walkthrough, and I'm going to show you my deck that is Domestic Divine Tarot. I haven't decided if I ever want to sell this deck, but if I ever decide to do it, then I will let you guys know. I don't have an Etsy shop or anything. No, don't go try to go find me. I'm not there on Etsy. I'm not there anywhere else. But if I ever decide to sell it, I promise I'll let you know. So the back looks like a red and white polka dot. And because the red and white polka dot is my favorite pattern, and I own a lot of clothing item that actually has red and white polka dots. So I think this is a pretty good representation of the retro, like the fashion that I was going for. And you guys already know that I've talked about it many times that I really like the retro art in tarot decks, and when they do that, and I seek those decks out. So I decided to make my own, and I decided to go with this as my first choice of the imagery. So I think I left the card so borders. I know it is annoying, and because when I was sizing these images, the format that I used apparently had this kind of like border left out after they actually cut the people who published, who printed it. They initially said that there won't be any borders because that's how I sized it, but looks like the sizing was wrong, and I ended up having this really annoying yellow border. But since it kind of merges with the other, like the color tone of the card, so I feel like I don't mind as much. But if I ever decide to print like bulk, then I'm going to take care of the border because I don't want it. All right, so let's go into the deck, and there are certain things that I have added deliberately that you will find maybe you will find it silly, but you might find it, like interesting as well. That like I imagine this woman to be in her most powerful, like position, that when she is in her domestic front. Part of it is because I'm making fun of all of those tradwife influencers, because the one thing that got me talking on the internet a few years ago was basically because I thought these tradwife influencers were they're spreading a dangerous propaganda for young women. And I have young children myself. Young child myself, and I don't think I would want him. And if I ever have a daughter, then I wouldn't want her to kind of learn that as a thing, because believe it or not, like growing up in India, I know what a traditional housewife does because my mom was one, and what it did to her when everything was taken away from her in just one like instance, and the destitute and poverty we went through because of that. And then I've come through, like got through that, and then came here and be what I am today is because of that, because I've learned my lesson. And I felt like this whole tradwife thing that was going on in the internet was basically a whole right-wing propaganda. And more on that, hold the pin that on the wall for a little bit, because I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. But before that, I want to show you this particular card. That one has a very like a interesting detail. Like Five of Swords is about cheating, but Five of Swords here, she's actually cheating in the game. If you can see, she has two fives, right? And one of the five is actually a six. So that is the the cheating part that nobody sees. They kind of sense it, but they don't see it. Anyways, so I do think that is a propaganda, and that was spread by mostly people like, and if you follow, not follow, but if you ever listen to these right-wing propagandists like Charlie Kirk with the Turning Point America and all of that, you will hear the same kind of talking points, that women should be in the home front, and they shouldn't be like leave children in daycare and stuff like that, and actually go to work. And I feel like that was started because of how Project 2025 was worded. And that's why people say that, oh, this looks like it is taken from Margaret Atwood's novel. It is kind of like that. Actually, that is true. But I do think that they do idealize the 1950s because of that, when women weren't in the workforce, and how that was easier for men, to be honest, to to kind of like stay in the game, because once women went into workforce, that was a lot more harder for men to like compete, not just with each other but also women. And a lot of women are really smart than average men, and once like that was en masse that women are competitors too, and that kind of made a problem with them. Anyways, for this card I actually took the inspiration from the very famous tradwife content creator online, and I read an interview that was conducted of her. It was a very long interview, and it sounded like in all of those questions that were asked to her, she was kind of giving a well rehearsed answer, and sounded like she actually did talk to her husband and they decided what they're going to say. So it kind of sounded like it was her husband talking instead of her talking. So and if I don't know if you have already got my drift on which content creator I'm talking about. She has millions and millions of followers, and she had a very well flourishing career, could have been a career before she got married, and had 7 or 8 children, I think. She's actually the inspiration behind this particular card. All the calendars that appear in my if it ever appears on the card, it's because I have deliberately kept the calendar jumbled, the dates, because calendar is one of the tools in the Housewives disposal that she uses to keep track of her stuff. And if she is not in her proper element, that means the dates and everything, the numbers around her all jumbled up, that is basically adding to her confusion and her the problems in her day-to-day life. So those are all deliberate. No, I did not mess it up. I did mess up a few things that I have to still fix, but some of the things that you might think that, oh, this is maybe a mess up from the AI's part, it's not. They're there for a reason. I wanted to kind of like also keep a lot of culinary items, because I don't know, I just like it, like cupcakes and like cakes and like icing and stuff. You will probably see all of that a lot, like a chocolate cake or pie and stuff like that. I really also like to imagine that if she was a woman with esoteric knowledge, right, and then how she would do things. So maybe she will appear as with a deck of cards or some other things, and I wanted to like kind of have that glimpse here and there as well, like in the High Priestess card. I did that on purpose. Isn't it kind of funny that she may have a Bible and a deck of cards side by side? It's going to freak out people who lecture me on my inbox that I am propagating demon or devil or stuff like that. 8 of Wands is my favorite card in the deck. I have always said that, in the minors at least, and I have deliberately like made it sure that you understand, if you're a new reader, that 8 of Wands actually means you are probably going to get a mail in the letter in the mail. Sorry, I had a long day, so letter in the mail. So the mails are something that should pop out, and events happening, and urgency and all those things. I also wanted to kind of have the color tone of, like, say for the sun, it's very yellow and sunny and all those things. So because colors really matter, and I think that keeping the color tone like monotone would have like taken away the message from. So if you see there is some really prominent colors in some of the cards, and some of the cards have a different kind of color, then it is on purpose. I did find, when I was a new reader, I always found Temperance to be a very hard card to read or kind of put in the context of a reading. So I don't know about you. So I wanted to like kind of simplify this card if you are a new reader, that what temperance really means. So water, and like pouring you a glass of water. There's a love letter and a rose that kind of softens the idea of the card a little bit more. Yes, it is Rider-Waite. It follows Rider-Waite very, very closely, and I did that on purpose as well, because I may change my mind of selling this deck one time, and then if it's too complicated to to read, then it's probably not going to be very useful. So this particular card, I'm very proud of how it came out. So I wanted her to be paranoid about what is the main thing in her life that she would be paranoid about. It would be about if her husband's cheating behind her back, right? So if you see that there are like probably 7 knives at the back, and then one knife counts as the lipstick that she found and as a gift that probably intended for somebody else, and then a letter, because sword also kind of corresponds to like knowledge, right? And knowledge can be in the form of a letter. So these two counts as the 2 other swords. And then in the shadow, you can see 2 people embracing, which is basically her nightmare. So that is how I conceived that card. And there are a few things that might be like, okay, these are like very very similar to Rider-Waite, but then some of the things might be a little bit new and different. I think for the Queen of Wands, I wanted to keep it consistent that she is one of the most like not mysterious, like she's one of the, like, if I am a woman in the tarot deck, I would think, although I'm a Taurian, but I would think that I would be probably her, because I identify my inherent characteristics with her most. So I wanted to make sure that that is coming out, like the clock on the wall and all of those things, and the martini. Yeah, this one I am pretty proud on how it came out, that she actually arranged all of these, the cocktail party, but she's leaving this party because, you know, she had enough. I think I like the Hermit card as well on how it came out. This is just me looking. I don't eat dessert much because we are trying to like police on my toddler's intake of dessert, so we kind of try to not eat dessert as much as we want. So this is kind of voyeurism for me. I think I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, if it's me, I would probably be eating all of that. I mean, all of these has significance. So like the things that I added, like the quilt in the back and things, I'm still writing the companion book, and then maybe if I ever decide to sell it, like I said, I will. 7 of Swords, it's about stealing. So look what she's trying to steal here. There's actually another other swords that didn't make it into the frame. So I think I have to fix a few of the things if I ever want to publish. This is the dad that works a lot and kind of misses out on a lot of the children's time. That's why there is this drawing on the refrigerator. If you can, I don't know if you already made out of that, but that was a reason. Some of the things are very typical of the Rider-Waite Smith, and I kept it that way for hopefully a new reader and experienced readers can both find value in this deck if I ever decide to sell it. I have to keep iterating. It's not available anywhere, okay? This card is, I'm so proud of how it came. I actually wanted to make this as like her making a choice between a dress that is less modest versus more modest, and and it says a lady always knows. That's supposed to be this. It got cut off in the frame. I don't like this frame. I may change it later, but this is basically like the 2 of Swords dilemma, the decision that she hasn't made. Again, this is also one of my really, like, I think I'm very proud of how this one came. The pineapple upside down cake. It's basically being in the upside down, and also all the jumbled up dates on the back. So if anything appears in the context of this lady's like life, they all have like significance. Just saying. She's a new like an apprentice in training, like being a perfect wife or whatever. 10 of Wands. 10 of Pentacles is like the really 1950s Christmas, right? I mean, there were actually 10 Pentacles that didn't make it into the frame. Well, this one could be the best justice representation I could think of. I'm not particularly proud of how this card came, but I think that this kind of makes sense in the concept, in the context of the concept. There are 4 cups here and the one over there that's standing. I also like this 4 of Swords card. It's like you can basically tell that she has found out that her life is not perfect. The Queen of Cups. The Chariot, I know that normally the Chariot is represented by the journey, and here I have given her a choice between routine and freedom, and she's probably taking freedom because she's heading this way. But is she going to change her mind? I don't know. But normally Chariot says kind of like a voyage towards, forward, so I guess she is going forward. This is the Magician, and if you see, all of those tools are there for a reason. So like the sewing machine, the bread, the martini glass, and her tarot deck. 7 of Cups, she's confused in all different kind of pasta. It's just pasta, pick one, right? But, well, that was the idea. 3 of Pentacles is like 3 women, they're making a cake, and there is one little girl who's also kind of helping. Page of Swords is always a spy card for me. So I guess she is kind of either listening to a conversation that she's not supposed to listen to, or she is like kind of like telling it to somebody whom she is not supposed to tell. And so it could work either way. 4 of Wands is a happy family, picket fence, American dream. So they bought a home. The Emperor card, this guy came out to be way nicer than I thought it would, because I would like to have the Emperor have a little bit of more shade. So I'm not particularly happy with this card, but well, it kind of works in the context of this. So 10 of Cups, and I like how the I actually decided to add the rainbow like really late in the game, and because this kind of gives me an ability to kind of incorporate everybody. Although this particular deck doesn't allow me to do that, because this is a satirical deck that I wanted to do, which is all pasty white, because it has to be, because that's what the concept is. But if I get a chance to splash something here and there, I did, because I really hate not being inclusive. But anyways, that was the point. This is political, and this is also like illuminating the history that, going back to a propaganda time is never a good idea, because it's all picturesque and smiles, and but in reality it's not how it is that it looks like. Anyway, so that's my deck, the Domestic Divine Tarot. I hope you like it. Yeah, there are things that I still have to fix, because there are a few printing errors that when it came out, and then if I ever decide to like sell it, I'll let you guys know, and let me know in the comments how you like this deck or not. And yes, I did not draw up most of the images. I had to draw a few things here and there after the image that was generated, but I used an AI tool to actually kind of generate the concept that I had in my mind, because guys, I'm not artsy. I don't really have an illustrator who would do this for me. So anyways, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next deck review. Thank you, and thank you so much for your support on my page. I cannot even imagine that, I get a lot of messages that you tell me that it makes a lot of difference, and I'm elated, I'm glad, I cannot even express how I feel, because it's such a ebullient feeling, and that it is making a lot of difference in your life, and I hope to keep it that way. All right, and I will see you in my next review. Thank you.